Okay, this is Emily White with the Human Rights Education Network News, and I'm talking together with Joulia Bou Karroum. She's the Human Rights Education Coordinator for the MENA Regional Office in Beirut. And welcome, please do introduce yourself.
Yes, hello Emily, thank you a lot for the introduction. I'm so happy to be with you on the network, and I'm looking forward to meet others as well through the same channel. I'm the Human Rights Education Coordinator within the MENA Regional Office in Beirut. Mainly we work on developing strategies and programs in human rights education and capacity building, additional to our work on producing and making available Arabic resources.
Great, thanks. So your team, I know, has been working since 2010 on capacity building around housing rights, and particularly how to document human rights violations during forced eviction. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Actually, we started in 2010 with a needs assessment with different human rights organizations, community-based organizations, popular committees, and we went for visits for the slums area to meet the rights holders there. So we came up with a very constructive program, and we developed a program on how to document human rights violations while we're having forced evictions or potential forced evictions for the communities. And especially that we worked in Egypt, where the government now is planning for something called 2050 plan, where Cairo is going to be a new Dubai. So people are most probably on be target of or be subject of a real forced eviction that may affect their whole life cycle. So we targeted 4 different audiences. One of them the community-based organizations, the lawyers at human rights organizations, the journalists who are the main stakeholders for the whole advocacy campaign we're working on, and the final audience was the youth popular committees who are living actually in the slums area. So we had a great successful outcome, and people now are on field documenting and sending us the cases. So
great,
yeah, very successful.
Excellent. And the other program I know that you're currently building is on documenting human rights violations in armed conflict situations. And I know you're working on Syria and also possibly Yemen. Yeah. Can you tell us more about this program?
Yes, now we're in the phase of developing a specific program on how to document human rights violations, especially in the situation where we have armed conflict. And when we're talking about this situation, we're focusing now on Syria and potentially on Yemen in 2014, where we have a lot of activists who are already approaching us and willing to take specific trainings around the documentations of human rights violations. So mainly this program will be focusing on the international humanitarian law and how to document violations related to protections of civilians, refugees, torture and disappearance. So this is the main project, and we might extend this project a little bit to be covering other countries such as Egypt, Libya, and working on as well documentations of human rights violations in terms of political civil rights. Just to mention as well, within the both projects for the slums and housing rights and forced evictions, as well as for the documentations of human rights violations, we are keen to have by the end of these 2 projects to launch online courses so we can address more and wider audience in the region and might be helpful for others as well, and we might cooperate with other as well colleagues all over the world who might be benefiting from this program.
Excellent, that sounds really exciting.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time. I know that there's a lot more that you're doing in the MENA Regional Office, but we're just taking a snippet of your time right now, and hopefully we'll hear more about all your other programs in other channels and also perhaps other interviews. So thanks very much for your time.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to hear back from the others as well and to share this experience, because this is what makes human rights really going more to the rights holder, and we can really implement this great effort we're doing within the network and within the whole Amnesty group. So looking forward.
Excellent. Thanks very much, Joulia.